friends. I hope everyone is having a good Friday night. I see some of you are already hanging out here. I'm glad because I wasn't sure if I maybe posted it a little late. Maybe there wouldn't be many people turn out, but I see we've got Michelle, eyes in the hands. I feel like you might have told me your actual name before, and I'm so sorry, but I can't remember. And it looks like we've got a few others. Jamie, Silver Flames. Hope everyone is doing good tonight. I hope so too. It has been a week, that is for sure. I feel like this light is on way too bright that I'm being blinded. So, how is everyone's week? Hi, Marissa. Yes, today's stream is a little bit later. We're just starting. I am working on the very last sleeve of the sweater. I think it's been like the last 2 live streams that I've been working on. Last 2 or maybe just the last one. I don't even remember. I was making a sweater for my friend and I didn't get it done in time for her birthday, but I am in like the last 3 inches of the last sleeve and then I just have to sew it up. So I will probably finish this on stream. So that's exciting. Is anyone else crafting anything tonight? I think I'm going to do this. And then I have the 24-hour challenge video ready to export and upload and all of that. So that will probably go up tonight as well. So exciting stuff. I was hoping to get that out yesterday, but then I managed to get it all edited, but then it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. So wasn't gonna stay up to do the thumbnail and everything. Hi, Kevin. How are you? I hope you had a good week. Hi, I'm doing good. Glad to catch the beginning. Right now I'm cooking mushroom, ginger, jalapeno, miso soup. That sounds amazing. Rice and pot stickers. It will be done soon, so gotta go eat with the fam. That sounds amazing. Definitely enjoy that. Way fancier than what I had for dinner. I had a fried egg sandwich. We went basic, and then I have all the stuff out to make soup, but it was just going to take too long, and it would have finished my Instant Pot would have gone off like in the middle of stream. So I was like, well, I'll just have something quick now, and then I can make my soup afterwards. Marissa, you're making bracelet 29920. Let's see what it is. 29920. That's what you said, right? 29920. Yeah. Oh, fun. It's kind of like a bit of an arrowhead, doubled arrowhead variation. Very cute. What colors are you doing? Are you doing the blues and greens or something different? Maybe you'll be able to come back after dinner. Yeah, we might be here for a while. I'm not sure how long we're going to go tonight. We'll see how people are feeling. Generally, when I stream around this time, we hit the hour mark and a lot of people start signing off just because of how late it is. So I wasn't sure. Part of me was like, well, maybe I should just do one tomorrow. But then I was like, no, Friday's the schedule. So I'll just do Friday. So here we are. How's your daughter doing? Is she fully recovered? Yeah, she seems to be. She the first couple days that she was here, she was kind of stuffed up and coughing and stuff still, but she seems to be doing 100%, no problems there. So that's good. And then I didn't get sick, so that's good too. We love that. Hello, Loretta. Welcome. I hope you're having a great Friday. You're doing pink instead of green, but the rest of the colors are the same. That'll look cute. Very cute indeed. I am so excited to be done this pattern. Just because I want to see it finished. I want to see it all put together, not because I'm sick of it. I've actually really enjoyed making this sweater. And so much so I have decided that since I have way too much yarn, I'm just going to make like all my girlfriends at work something for their birthday, crocheted or knit. So I'm going to finish this and then start into a crochet pattern for a completely different friend. So that'll be fun. Not sure whether I'm going to do a blanket or a sweater, but I just want to get rid of a bunch of yarn I have and start looking at maybe going a little more stashless just because I don't really have the room. Hi Brownie 2021. Speaking of brownies, I literally just made brownies earlier this week. They were delicious. So glad to hear. I know I was concerned. She was really high energy through all of it though, so that was good. Ended up not being quite as obviously like your mind goes to the worst case scenario, right? So it ended up actually not being completely terrible. Have I heard of Call Me Chris? I have heard of Call Me Chris. I've watched some of her videos, but I don't keep on top of her whole like I know she's kind of got like a whole storyline going on with all her characters and stuff. I don't really keep on top of the storyline, but I do know who she is, and I have watched a bunch of her TikToks and some of her YouTube videos. Will you be showing us the finished sweater? I hope to. It probably won't be in stream here because I will have to sew it up. And then once it's all sewn together, I have to put the neckline on it. So I should probably finish that tonight. And then I'm going to at least take pictures of it because I think what I want to start doing instead of doing a full like monthly wrap up with everything I made in it, I think I got kind of two options to continue the monthly wrap up and I would like to maybe expand the book portion of the monthly wrap up because I feel like I kind of just touch on it and nothing else. Or literally start doing like book talk, like this is what I thought about this book. This is the book I read. And then this is what I worked on during this book instead of like a monthly wrap up, do it as more of a book time wrap up, like if that kind of makes sense. So I don't know. I've been playing around with that idea because I love books too, as you guys can like tell. But yeah, so I will be showing you it. What video it appears in, I'm not 100% sure yet, but I will post pictures and stuff of it for sure. Yes, Kevin, I saw that you sent me pictures. That's actually why I had picked up my phone here because I forgot to switch my phone to silent, so I heard it go off there, which I'm going to do maybe now if I can get my finger in there. Also, I want to cut down on the yarn because I am getting my cats back and I know they're going to make a big mess of it. So come like the end of the month, I'll be getting my cats back. What am I looking for? Instagram. Ooh, Kevin's been working on some bead stuff, it looks like. And your blanket. Oh my gosh, cute. Cute. Some little beaded keychains. And this looks like, is that rainbow loom and beads? That's pretty cool. I think we've talked about this before. I never got super into the rainbow loom. I don't know what it was about it. I tried it. It just wasn't really for me. And then if you guys remember last stream, we talked about how Kevin had to frog his entire baby blanket because it caught and got a hole in it. That is the update. That is where Kevin is at now. So it looks like you put at least like a couple more inches onto that. So that's exciting. It's still not as big as it was. You had so much of it done, but good to see you're still plugging along at it. Today I've been working on pattern 103794. Making with yarn as a strap for a bag you wove. Oh, very cool. What does that pattern look like? Come on. Catch up with me here. 103794. 103794. I assume it's off Bracelet Book. It's a funky two-tone, kind of distorted striped bracelet. Is that the right one? That's a very cool, like, optical illusion style bracelet. Some of those are fun, but sometimes they get hard to make. I remember I've knotted a couple that are kind of, two-tone, kind of an optical illusion effect, and there's been more than a few times that I've gotten lost in them. Um, this question has probably been asked before, but what is your opinion of friendship thread? I assume you mean craft cord. Like, it's not embroidery floss. It's like the I don't want to call it braided either. It's kind of just got a twist in it. I assume that's the stuff you're talking about. And personally, I don't like it. I personally hate it, if I'm being completely honest. I just find because I'm a really tight knotter, I find it snaps really, really easy. And so I know there's a lot of people who swear by it. And I don't know if I went to, like, I've only ever used like packs of it from Walmart. So I don't know if I switched to, let's say, like the DMC cotton pearl in a thin strand, if that would maybe make a difference if it's a quality thing. But every time I've used it, it's snapped. So I assume that's what you're talking about. 24-hour is literally, I have it done. I just have to export it. So that will be up tonight. The fall not along will likely go up next week. I'm hoping for early next week because obviously it's all filmed and everything. I just have to sit and edit. So I'm hoping I'll be able to get that edited this weekend and have it up on Monday or Tuesday. That is my goal. And 107819, what is that pattern? 107819. Sometimes I feel like I should know what these pattern numbers are, and then I just don't. 107819. This is a Timothy Chalamet bracelet. I don't really know any of his stuff, so I'm assuming that that is a request for that pattern. But I probably won't make it. I'm not gonna lie, just because I don't really know any of his stuff, to be honest. Like, I know who he is, but I don't really know any of his stuff. Do. Yes, that's the right one. That's gonna look really cool. Are you doing it in green and black, or are you doing it in different colors? Pause. You sent a picture too. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Where we are. Okay. No, okay. Those are the dog pictures we looked at last time. I was like trying to make sure if it was just one picture or two. Looks like, this looks like marker. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's another picture there. We had looked at some of your stuff last week, and that's what got us on the topic of Copics and Prismacolor and everything. And then we had someone asking about Derwent pencils. We went down a whole art supply rabbit hole last time. That looks so good though and so clean. Markers was never like, I used markers in like coloring books, but I never integrated them into my actual artwork. I think we talked about this last time too. I mostly just did like pencil. I didn't get into like a super lot of art, and then I did a super lot of art. What is even English, Megan? English. A super lot of like colored artwork. I painted and then I sketched, and that was kind of it. This one isn't hard since it's a low number of strings. Definitely recommend it. I'll have to take a look. Honestly, I have been kind of feeling lately like I should make more normal patterns. I think it was like the 24-hour challenge. I kind of got the urge to make some, and now I feel like I need to make more. So we may see some more normal tutorials and stuff coming up. But I do, we'll probably see some more normal tutorials coming up, but I do also want to do the next video in the alpha guidebook series into like normal color changes and stuff and how to make clean, nice looking normal color changes. Yeah, that's kind of what it looks like, but it's literally called friendship thread. Okay, I'm gonna Google it. I think it's what I'm calling craft cord. Um, friendship thread. What is it? Yeah, so it depends on the brand. So this friendship thread that comes up on like Walmart's page. This is like the similar brand to that Friends Forever um embroidery floss that I had a while back. If you guys have been around for a while, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But other brands call that craft cord. So like loops and threads here on the Michaels site, you're probably not going to be able to see this very well, and I'm super zoomed in. But it's got like the twist in it, and Loops and Threads calls it craft cord. So it has a few names. I don't particularly like it myself, but I do know a lot of people like to knot with that twisted cord. So I think it just comes down to maybe quality and just that I knot really tight. So I snap the strings like a lot. Hey girly, looking fabulous. Thank you. I looked like a troll all day and then went and put makeup on just for this because I was like, we looking a little too trolly for that. People at work can suffer. The YouTube will save your eyes a little. Like I did not get good sleep last night, so like just under circles, had done nothing with my hair, and I put in minimal effort with like a band shirt and some old leggings. Like people at work just they don't get the effort. Sorry, friends from work. Now I'm doing light purple slash lavender and warm yellow. Oh, cool. That's a cool color combination. That gives me very like purple lavender. That would give me like very like spring vibes, which I am desperate for. It snowed like all yesterday afternoon. I don't know what the weather's doing. It's been getting like warm and then really, really cold again, and then warm and then really, really cold again. And it's just over it. Oh, you're doing 107819. Oh, cool. That'll be cute. Are you that was the Timothy Chalamet. Am I saying that right? I think it's supposed to be French. Timothy Chalamet would be how I would pronounce it. That's cute though. A nice little alpha. I'm not working on any knotting projects right now. Like this sweater is my only project at the moment. And when I'm done it, I think I'm going to I'll film something. I don't know. I haven't decided. I've got a bunch of ideas that I want to get filmed. And then I will start on another crochet knitting project probably. You didn't have the right color yarn to follow the pattern colors, though the black and green look great. I have always struggled to find neon colored threads that aren't like silky, slippery fabric. I think that's just like I think they exist just locally. I've always struggled to find them, so I don't blame you there. The neon colors always look so good in the patterns on bracelet book and stuff, and I just don't have them in my collection. Yes, marker and some pencil over some parts. Very cute. Yeah, like I said, it's never something that I've played with. I really want to, but like also a little bit don't know where to begin. Or I'm honestly I'm a little discouraged from like the past times that I've tried. It just didn't really turn out well. I'm like, I ruined this by trying to put color in it. We just got like really pink all of a sudden. Okay. Oh, it's because of my cup. It's making the white balance go all over the place. Oh my gosh, I used my colored pencils so much this week, inspired by the last live. That's awesome. No, I've definitely been thinking on it, but I've been trying really hard this year to start a project and finish it all the way through instead of starting a bunch of projects and then abandoning them. Like, don't get me wrong, I've got one or two projects that I really want to just take my time on and slowly work through, but like that was the intent of them. Whereas stuff that I start like for the channel and stuff like this, there was a time where I would have started this, said I was going to make this, started it, and then just abandoned it halfway through and never ever finished it. So I'm trying really hard. Like if I have supplies for something and I start a craft, or if I go out and get supplies, especially if I go out and get supplies, I'm trying to finish it all the way through. So trying to get rid of some of the craft supplies I have on hand because it's just too much. The floor is all pencil and it took forever. Yeah, because you had, oh my gosh, don't fall. I'm like trying to set this on my lap while I'm sitting on an island chair. Not a great combo. Your floor was all, yeah, wood planks. You did colored pencil in that? Oh. See, this is literally what we talked about last time. I looked at that and I could have sworn that this was like all marker except for a couple of the shading bits. I would have never guessed, and maybe it's just like the lighting in the picture or something. I would have never guessed that those floorboards were pencil crayon. That's crazy. I need to get me some Prismacolors. Look at me talking about trying to use the supplies I have, and then I'm here like, let me go buy more. It's basically how I end up with so many to-dos in my bracelet book to-dos. You're watching while trying to fall asleep. I mean, fair enough. I don't blame you there. You do what you got to do. If you there's just some nights where I can't fall asleep, so I lay in bed and literally watch YouTube videos and everything else until I feel tired enough or actually fall asleep. So there's this tutorial on bracelet book by Attic called Double Variegated Wave. I'd suggest that for a tutorial as I can't find any and it's kind of confusing. I think I might know what pattern you're talking about. Let me see if I can find it. Tutorials added by Attic. Man, that was way back in the day when Attic used to accept the patterns and stuff. I've never actually made this pattern. I am familiar with it, like I've seen it before, but I have never actually made it. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think some people call that I want to say I've seen someone call it a totem bracelet before. Hold on. Let me give a little searchity search. Oh my gosh, I can't even talk. Totem bracelet. Yes, I think I can probably do a tutorial on it. I think it's like the same as this, just with more colors in it. Looks like a whole bunch of Rainbow Loom stuff comes up as well. But yeah, I was going to say, I think I've heard it called a totem pole bracelet or totem bracelet before. It was not the one I thought of when you first said that. I was thinking more along the lines of the Peruvian wave, like a doubled Peruvian wave. I don't know why, but your weather kind of sounds like ours. We've been having cold weather, and then it warms up and then goes back and forth. That's, yeah, literally been the trend for not so much the first half of winter. The first half of winter was just like bitter cold for eternity. But now, yeah, it'll get like -30 for a week, and then it'll warm right up to like +10. We have seen plus 10 this winter, and then all of a sudden it'll drop. It'll plummet like 20 degrees overnight, and we'll be right back to like minus 20, minus 25. It's not very nice, to be honest. I mean, it's nice when it warms up, but it's not nice to go from that warm to like that cold, you know? You'll also need a good toothy paper. Pencils need the tooth to work well. Yeah, I think, what is that? It's a hair. Yeah, I have heard that before with pencils specifically, and I think the same kind of goes for like pastel and charcoal. I think they just have better payoff if the paper has some tooth to it. But yeah, I want to try it at some point. I don't know when it's going to be that I try it, but Kevin sent another picture. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. In my head, I was going to sing that to the tune of Take Me to Church. Improbable Lives. This is a book that my uncle and aunt wrote. A Scot, a Tanzanian, and their Canadian love story. Oh, cool. This is the picture of the book that Kevin just sent me that his aunt and uncle wrote. That's so cool. I assume, like, by the look of this, this was published. Was it published by, like, a publishing house, or was it self-published? How's my book reading going? I can't remember if I was in the midst of the book, The Godfather, last time I talked to you guys or not. I finished The Godfather. It was really good, to be honest. It was really good. I really, really enjoyed it. So I think I'm going to have to watch the movie at some point because I never saw the movie. But I did really, really like the books, and I like the style of writing. So I know he's got a bunch of other novels, so I might try them as well. I don't have anything. I was just about to say I don't have anything currently on the go, but that is a lie. A couple days ago, I started A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. It was one that was all over BookTube a while ago now. Like, I want to say like a couple years ago now. And I just never got around to it. And then I've got it sitting in my Audible library. So I started that one. So far, it's okay. I'm not like super, super deep into it yet to know really which way it's going to go. But I have heard good things about it. So I'm excited about that. I thought it looked so good, so I tried making it, but messed up so many times. That was a year ago, though. Maybe I should try again. I have never tried it. Like I said, I've seen it a bunch of times, but I've never actually tried it. So maybe I could give it a try and make a video on it. I don't think that would be an issue. I'll definitely try it. All right, time for you to eat dinner. Catch y'all later. All right, enjoy your dinner. It sounds like it's going to be amazing. So enjoy. And if we're still here and feel welcome to come back. If not, maybe we'll catch you next time. My aunt and uncle, who that for them. I think you had a typo in there, Kevin. I'm assuming it's supposed to be your aunt and uncle and someone made that for them. Do I watch any TV shows or dramas? Honestly, I'm not huge into TV. I used to watch a lot of TV shows. And then when I moved out on my own, I just couldn't afford cable. So I went to like just Netflix, and then I just found that I wasn't watching a ton of stuff on there. And then I wasn't really interested in the TV shows that I had been watching. So I had kind of one or two that I would check in on and like binge watch, catch up, and then I wouldn't really watch anything else. And that was Supernatural. Supernatural is over now though, so not watching that. The one that I've been returning to is The Witcher, but it only has 2 seasons. It's a Netflix original. I really like that one. Otherwise, though, I'm not a huge TV person. I do watch a lot of YouTube and I'll watch movies occasionally, but I don't really keep on top of any TV shows anymore. I used to watch Sense8 as well. I liked Sense8. Um, I did watch. There was another Netflix original that I watched. What was it called? What was it called? What was it called? What was it called? Cursed? Maybe it was a fantasy one. That was pretty good. But it's one that probably, honestly, when the next season comes out, I probably won't watch it. Same as Umbrella Academy. I really liked the first season, but then when the second season came out, I watched like one episode and never finished it. Same can be said for like Stranger Things. Watched one season of it, and then the second season came out, and my interest in it was gone. So I'm just not really finding a TV show that really piques my interest enough to stick with it. So The Witcher has kind of now replaced Supernatural, where it's like I am really, really pumped for the next season. And that seems to be like sticking. Like I really want to know what happens in that story. So much so I might actually hunt down the book and read the book just because why wait for another season when I can just read it, you know? But yeah. So that's kind of my take on TV shows and dramas. I'm not really up to date on anything. You sent some puppy pictures. Let's take a look. Oh, Kevin messaged me here that his aunt and uncle have a friend who published books. Okay, cool. We've got some new puppy pictures. There's a little sleeping puppy. Cute, cute, cute. Puppy enjoying the sun. Look at it. I'm jealous. I don't even know if this. I don't. Can you guys see that? There. I want the sun so bad, and it's just want to bask in the heat again. The one with him laying on the blanket was when he got a new bed. Oh, cute. Oh my gosh, I got too many things open. I don't even know what's going on anymore. I am mostly just super excited that my Spotify is working properly again. Okay. I was in a slump for over 3 months, and now I've made 4 keychains, all over 20 strings. I don't know how. It happens. There's been times. Oh, go away, Siri. We don't need you today. There's been times where I've gone through slumps where I haven't made anything for like a few months. And then all of a sudden, I'm just like, let me make the largest thing I possibly can. It's like 0 to 100. My husband has a poetry book on Amazon that was published by Amazon. Oh, cool. I've thought about going like self-published route, but it's a lot of money. It really is. So the only thing I've ever published has been on like Wattpad. Way back in the day. Not even way back in the day, like a few years ago. But I haven't been on Wattpad in a very long time, so. You were thinking about watching Supernatural but never got to it. Honestly, if you like supernatural things, it's really good. I personally like loved that show. There was a couple seasons that weren't great. That really weren't great, but I found those to be like I think season 5 was where they had a kind of planned to end the series. And if I remember correctly, like there was a lot of people who were very upset that that was going to be the end of it. And so they came back and season 6. And I feel like I'm trying to recall now. I know the next season was not particularly great. And that kind of carried over into season 7 just because of the storyline. So if I remember correctly, season 6 wasn't great and like a bit of season 7 wasn't fantastic. And then it picks up again. For me, I know some people only liked like the first 2 or 3 seasons that finished out kind of that first story arc, but I really enjoyed it. I think it was really fun. And because it was on for so long, I feel like there was a lot of character development that happened just because it did like what 14, 15 seasons. It was on a long time, so my husband and I have been watching Supernatural on Netflix. I'm watching Angel currently on Hulu. Now, answer me this, Loretta. If you are watching Supernatural, I'm assuming from like the very beginning, when I went back and watched Supernatural on Netflix, it did not have the original soundtrack in it. And I know it didn't because I watched, I'd had the box set of DVDs and it has like a full like classic rock soundtrack. And then on Netflix, it's got like generic royalty free music in it. So some of the really iconic moments of like Dean saying, like Sam making fun of Dean's cassette collection and Dean telling him house rules apply. Driver picks the music, shotgun shuts his cake hole, and then he slams a cassette into the radio and it just starts blasting. Kind of lost its effect when it was just royalty free music and, you know, not like 80s classic rock. But I don't know if that's just Canadian Netflix or if that was American Netflix too, or just all Netflix. I don't know. They're making a spinoff of Supernatural. I had heard a rumor of that, but I don't know. I don't know whether that's actually coming to fruition or what. Are you guys temperature? I read this. We've been in the 80s the past few days, but we're going down to the low 70s tomorrow. I read the first half of that. We've been in the 80s the past few days with the context of like 80s classic rock in my mind because I just made the comment about 80s classic rock and I was like, oh, I mean, yeah, like I definitely get into vibes of that. And then I realized you were talking about the temperature and I was like, oh, Megan, you're an idiot. That just gave me a good laugh. I was watching Legacies season 3 and I feel like my time has been wasted. I'm sorry. What? I haven't watched. Have I watched Legacies? I don't know. There's been a few shows over the years that I like started, and I watched like the full like first season, and I kind of feel the same way. I'm like, I don't really care to pick that up again. But yeah, I don't think I've watched Legacies. It sounds really, really familiar though. Maybe I did try it. Let me give it a little Google here and nope, I don't think I watched this. Nope, I didn't watch it. Have not seen it. I think I've heard of it before, but I haven't watched it. It's so annoying when they change the music. Yeah, I definitely agree because it just lost so much of its like effect and the drama of it. Like so much of it, a lot of that show, like that whole soundtrack is classic rock. So it like some of those moments really are drove home by the lyrics. Like Dean catching Sam with some girl in the back of the car and then playing night moves the next morning in the car when they're driving. He goes, "Don't night moves me," and Dean just goes, "Shh, shh, just let it wash over you. Just let it wash over you." Like if you don't have that song in there, then it makes no sense. Like the lines literally don't make sense in some cases without the proper soundtrack in there. I think they have the actual classic rock now on it because I've heard actual 80s music on Supernatural. Okay, maybe that's Or maybe it's just the older seasons. I don't know what season you're in, but I remember going back to watch like season 1 and I didn't have the classic rock in it. And I was like so upset. I was like, oh, I have built playlists off of the soundtrack of this TV show. But if they've changed it, that would be awesome. Maybe it was a royalty thing and they need to get permissions redone or something. Netflix often plays syndicated versions, not necessarily the original episodes. I didn't actually know that. Obviously, I knew they had changed the music, but from what I had watched of it before I got fed up with the incorrect music, it seemed to be like the normal episodes. Amanda says, hi, I love your lives and I look forward to them. Thank you. I'm glad you could make it. Oh my gosh, I have like the hiccups. I can feel them coming on. I'm glad you can make it and I'm glad you enjoy them. I'm trying to keep on a steady schedule, so at least the live streams are steady instead of like I know my videos aren't always out like the exact same day, exact same time, but yeah, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed them. Legacies is basically TVD mixed with Harry Potter, but bad storyline and killing good characters while keeping the boring ones. Ooh. I was into Vampire Diaries a long time ago. I had actually read Vampire Diaries long before it became a TV show. And I remember when it became a TV show, my French teacher who ran the high school book club talked about how Vampire Diaries was just trying to copy Twilight. And I remember going, except for the Vampire Diaries was wrote in the 90s, so Twilight copied them. But I remember the first season of the Vampire Diaries not being particularly great acting. And I remember watching like the second season and me and my friends being like, whoa, like there was a big jump in like acting here, I feel like. But yeah, if they are killing off the good characters and stuff, then like what's the point? I feel like they're trying to, maybe this is a unpopular opinion, but I feel like they're trying to milk that show for a lot more than it's worth. Also, I can say for realsies, the TV show is nothing like the books. So if you are interested, like you want to talk about a TV show that has been completely changed from their books, that is like massively changed. Like she does not have a brother in the books. She has a little sister. Like Jeremy doesn't exist in the books. So there's a fun fact for you. She's got like a 2-year-old little sister. And they kind of started down the alley of kind of trying to hint at it at one point in the very, very early Vampire Diaries episodes that the Salvatore brothers and vampires in general can shift into an animal form. Like not to all animals, but they have like an animal form. And Damon shifts into like a raven. And if you recall back to the very first episodes of the Vampire Diaries, they seem to have a lot of focus on this raven that's sitting in the tree outside what's her face's bedroom. And that's because in the actual books and the actual storylines, that is actually Vampire Damon spying on her. And then they just never like carried that through and they changed it a lot. So I don't know. I think they're trying to milk that show for more than it's honestly there. You remember that scene from Supernatural, right? That just let it wash over you. I cannot listen to Carry On My Wayward Son without thinking about Supernatural, right though? So true. So true. There's so many songs though that like I had heard before but never really listened to until that TV show, and I think that TV show opened my eyes to a lot more classic rock, whereas before I think it was kind of like what my mom listened to, and she didn't always listen to the stuff that I liked. And then I found that TV show had a lot more classic rock that I enjoyed. And I was like, oh, like classic rock can be good. And I definitely credit that to that TV show. I sent you a bracelet work in project picture. Let's take a look. Do you have a Sebastian decoration holding your bracelet? That's cute. This is a doubled distort. I don't know what people are calling this, but I think I've seen it called distorted chevron, like a doubled distorted chevron. Chevron, very cute, in like red, orange, yellow tones. And then you've got Sebastian from The Little Mermaid holding it. Very cute. Oh, I see you got a little mermaid decoration there too. That's awesome. I read a lot of the Vampire Diaries books. My sister let me borrow them years ago. Yeah, I had gotten them obviously like not when they came out. Like I got into vampires around the early Twilight era before it became a movie or anything. And I had found those ones at the store and started reading them. So I bought them in like collections. So I think it had like book 1, book 2, like volume 1, volume 2 in one book altogether. So I don't actually know how many of the original series I've read, but I've read 3 or 4 of those like collection books. I tried watching the very first episode of Vampire Diaries, and yes, it's not like the book. It's not at all. It doesn't even follow like a similar storyline, really. Like it's definitely taken nuance from the book at some points, but it has definitely gone far off the rails from what the books were. Yeah, the crow thing with Damon was mentioned about it in Amazon Prime. It said they didn't want to give him too many powers. Yeah, but like all the vampires were supposed to have animal shifting capabilities. It's been a while since I read them, but if I remember correctly, Stefan would never switch because he wasn't consuming the same amount of blood and stuff as Stefan. And then it was like a whole thing when they ran into Catherine too, that Catherine originally appeared, if I remember correctly, as like some kind of wildcat. So it was literally, it wouldn't have given Damon too many powers. If they had only given Damon that in the show, then yeah, it would have seemed a little extreme. But they were all supposed to have it. So kind of weird. But what do I know? Yeah, I don't know. That was a show that I got really into for a while and then fell off the tail end of it. I'm not even taking part in the TV show talk because all I watch is YouTube and Disney movies and mainly Disney classics. Fair enough. I watch a lot of like these are old TV shows that I haven't watched in a long time. I don't watch anything really currently. I watch a lot of YouTube. I think we've talked about that before. And Disney movies. I think last live stream I talked about going to watch Encanto. Like at home, obviously. It's obviously already out. I watched it. I did. It was fun. It was good. The music is a bop. I think last live stream I had watched it once. I was going to go watch it again because I think I had talked about how I think the music in that movie is very stylized to like this kind of time. And it still has that like musical feel of like a musical, like a movie, like a musical, you know what I mean? Not like musical feel as in like music. Um Yeah, and I still kind of think that might be the case. Like, it's very, very stylized and kind of hip hoppy pop at times, which I think maybe 10 years from now we'll look back on and it'll be very much like, oh yeah, that came out of the 2020s. Um, Whereas I feel like when you think of like The Little Mermaid, like, look at this stuff. Isn't it neat? Wouldn't you think my collection's complete? Like, I don't think of that and go like, oh, that's definitely 90s right there. It's just like, yeah, that's musical. That's just like musical style. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I did really like the animation in it, but then I also feel like the storyline wasn't really complete. Am I the only one? I was like, okay, so we get to the end and she's I don't want to spoil it, but I just feel like we got to the end and there was kind of a lot left untied. So I don't know if there's supposed to be a second one or what the deal is with it, but not my absolute favorite Disney movie. But it was fun and I am enjoying the music. I just don't know how well it's going to age. You were into vampires when Buffy the Vampire Slayer was on. I was very young when Buffy the Vampire Slayer was on, and I would watch some episodes when I couldn't go to sleep, and I'd wake up and go downstairs and watch TV with my mom, but not consistently enough to like really know what was going on. Like I was very young at that point. Um, well, I've been dying to talk about some shows I watched, but no one I know watches them. Fair enough. Honestly, I didn't know Vampire Diaries, I feel like got pretty mainstream, so I feel like quite a few people watched that. But Supernatural, I found like was always one where I had to kind of search people out. Um, but yeah, now I just don't watch enough. So if anyone really talks about TV shows, I'm like, you know? And I've never gone back and watched Buffy. I see Loretta says that she watched the whole thing on Hulu, but I never went back and watched Buffy. The classics, in my opinion, are better. Mm. They're definitely I feel like there's a reason that they're classics, for sure. I think I think some of them should maybe be I don't wanna say redone because I feel like a lot of the times when they redo things, they kind of ruin them, but I would like to see, maybe some of the newer style animation over the same script. Like, I don't want them changing the songs. I don't want them adding new parts or changing lines, but I would love to see how it would look like some of those classics like Little Mermaid or like Snow White in the newer Disney animated style, just to kind of see, you know? Good evening from a blizzard in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. That's what you get for living in Winnipeg. Just kidding. Good evening, good evening. I hope you're having a good Friday. And honestly, yesterday was a blizzard. I don't know what it's doing out there right now. I closed the blinds. That's it for the day. It was not snowing when I came home from work, though. I can say that. Oh, it looks like the spammers are here. Hold on a moment, folks. We're going to get rid of them. Okay, there we go. Beautiful. But yeah, that's basically I watched Encanto a couple times. They ruin things when they redo it. Just look at the Figment ride in Epcot at Disney World. I haven't been to Disney World in like 10 years or maybe even more. You have an assignment due in 30 minutes. What are you doing here? Go work on your assignment or at least submit it. You like Charmed? That was another one I never watched. I know a lot of people got into that one and really liked that one, but it was one I think it was because when it was actually on TV, I was really young. And also, um, like I predominantly lived with my mom when I was younger and we'd visit my dad like every other weekend. My mom didn't have cable or satellite or anything, so we had like antennas on top of our TV, rabbit ears. So we would get like two different channels. So I just like there is a massive gap in like TV shows that would have been on in my childhood that I just never saw because we didn't have TV and we didn't have internet at that time either. So um I feel like some of those that were definitely on when I was younger and I feel like a lot of people my age did watch. I have not because didn't have cable or satellite or anything. So multitasking. Well, hopefully you multitask your way into a completed assignment in 30 minutes. Yeah, I like the older Charmed, the new one not so much. I didn't even know they had a new one. Not even gonna lie. It's a talent of mine, but so is procrastination. Oof, I feel that on a soul level. Working under pressure always seems to work out in the end for me. And I definitely bring it on myself by procrastinating. I've been trying to get better with it though. Been trying. And now that I don't have school, I feel like it's a little bit easier to not procrastinate because I don't have assignments. I just kind of go at my own pace. Anyone seen True Blood? I saw like one episode of it and um it was like a season finale episode at a friend's house. But it was definitely like season 1 or season 2, like, it was deep into it, and I have no idea what was going on. It was a little too wacky for me, so I never got into it. Me too, never got into watching Charmed. Yeah, that was just like a I knew of it after it existed, you know what I mean? Someone's telling you, Amanda, to hit the book. Get her done. Kevin, you like the old Charmed? Yeah, I didn't even know there was a new one. Loretta hasn't seen True Blood either. Yeah, like I said, I saw one episode, but I feel like it's like the equivalent of jumping into like the season 7 finale of Supernatural. Like if you miss half an episode of Supernatural, you're not gonna have a clue what's going on. Oh my gosh, why is there so many fluffies? And I feel like that was kind of my first experience with True Blood, and I was like, this is just way too wacky for me. But I have been kind of curious because I know that show got really, really popular. So I don't know. Maybe one day I'll go back and watch it. My grandfather uses an antenna and he'll watch the same old Western movies time and time again. Yeah. We got, because I was living in Ontario at that point. So we got TVO, which at certain times of day was TVO Kids. So we got like the children's channel, like Arthur and stuff. And then we got Global, which is like news and just general, like local with your soap operas and stuff during the day. And then we got the new VR, which was like a dedicated news channel in that area. And that was it. We got 3 channels. That was it. And then it was just like movies. So we'd go and we'd rent a movie once in a while. And once in a while, my mom would let us buy one or we'd get one as a gift or something. But that was all we watched, like over and over again. I was up on my Young and the Restless at one point while y'all were watching Charmed and fun things. I was watching Young and the Restless because that's what I had on TV. It gets crazy, LOL. Oh, True Blood. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm trying to recall what there was like eggs or something. in the episode that I watched, and it was like a bunch of people were like passed out, and there was eggs, and there was some girl like crawling through a house, and I just really, really have no idea what was going on. The first season of True Blood was fairly true to the book series, but then it took a left turn at Albuquerque. The books were great. I know the books exist. I haven't read them either. Um, but I've been kind of debating picking them up instead of hunting down the TV series. But I also know the TV series got really, really popular too. So I don't know if I'll do both or do one at some point, but oh, I'm doing the work at the moment, but I might just not do it because it's late. Girl, just do it. Just do it. Okay, just get her done. Just get her done. Get it over with, and then it's off your plate. Oh, Kevin sent another picture. Let's take a look. Oh, what are all these notifications? Okay. Yes, see, when I talk about Charmed, like this is like what I think of like these characters because that's what I've seen people talk about on the internet. This is really like the light through the camera and stuff is really whitewashing. But like, this is like the older one. I didn't even realize that there was a newer one, but this is like the newer one, I guess. Yeah, I wasn't even aware that there was a new one. Hmm. Someone has suggested, Amanda, that you get as much as you can done, like the most important stuff first. There's a suggestion, and then at least if you really don't do it today, you can whip off the rest really quick tomorrow. That's not terrible. Obviously, ideally, you get it done before it's due, but anyone know of any good movies? I just haven't really been watching any movies lately. How do you have the motivation? For what? For crafting or for like reading or for all of the above? Because for me, what I do, like to be able to do it all, is I do audiobooks. I do audiobooks and then I craft while I'm listening to my audiobooks. Um, and that way I kind of two birds, one stone, you know? We were close enough to the US border that we got a lot of the US stations on our antenna. See, yeah, I was not. I grew up, it was actually kind of weird because I grew up when I was really young, it was still considered Northern Ontario. And then, ooh, my knee just cracked. And then when I got a little bit older, they declared it to be Southern Ontario. So I'm far enough away from the border that we didn't get just on like the regular like rabbit ears. We did not get any American stations. Have you seen Midnight Sun? Like, is that a movie or are you talking about like the Stephanie Meyer book? Because I obviously know of it, but never read it. Megan, whereabouts in Canada are you? I am in northern Alberta. I'm in northern Alberta. It is very cold. It is honestly the summers are really hot though, and the sun is up for like a long time, which is nice. It just really sucks in the winter because the sun is really not up for a long time. um, Loretta Paz has suggested any classic Disney. Oh yes, I like Disney movies. Yes, yes. Don't we all though? Like once in a while, isn't it just nice to sit down and watch? Amanda says thanks for the advice on polishing off the important stuff first. Um, Definitely recommend the Sookie Stackhouse books over the True Blood series, in my not so humble opinion. I have heard of both, have read neither, if I'm being completely honest. Obviously, we were just talking about True Blood, but like Sookie Stackhouse, I've heard of as well, but I've never read it. Honestly, one of my favorite vampire series around that vampire era was the Glass Houses series by Rachel Kane. I thought they were hilarious and they were really fun. But I don't think they ever got like super popular. But there's also like 13 of them. So I really enjoyed them. I thought they were really like sarcastic and funny. I have a bunch of them. So I really enjoyed those ones. I did like the Vampire Diary ones. And then at the time, I loved Twilight. And then honestly, what killed Twilight for me was I think personally, I think they casted the movies really, 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 really horribly. And they were so cringy that whenever I went back and tried to read the books, all I could picture was the movie, and it just ruined it for me because I used to love those books. I got a bunch of those books. I still have a bunch of those books, and they're signed, so I probably won't get rid of them. But I loved the Twilight books until the movie came out. Then once the movie came out, that just kind of killed it for me. I did not really enjoy the movie. You're back from your dinner. Welcome. You're so stuffed. Well, that's good. That's good. That's good. Hopefully it was delicious. It sounded like it was going to be. It's starting to get kind of warm here and I'm loving it. March to June is just like my favorite time of the year. Honestly, I have so mixed feelings when it comes to like springtime here just because there was one year that spring really, really did not go good and like the entire city burnt. So it just got like really, really hot, really, really fast. And so I'm a little bit nervous with what our weather's doing now that we might get a repeat of that, which was like the most terrifying day of my life. So I really don't want a repeat of that. So I'm always kind of holding my breath until we're like into summer because I feel like when that happened in the spring, just like people aren't really prepared to deal with massive forest fires and stuff at that time in the year because normally the snow's still melting. But we had literally gone in the course of a week, we had gone from snow on the ground to the city burning in a week. So it was wild. So yeah, March to June is kind of when I'm like, biting my nails a little bit until it's kind of proven that it's going to stay like in the middle actual spring temperatures for a while. And then I'm like, okay, this is okay. But personally, I love me a hot baking summer. You didn't even know there was books on True Blood? Honestly, I didn't for a long time either. And then I saw someone when I was in high school, I saw someone reading one of them and I was like, oh, that might be the way to do it. But that was like Dexter, like the TV show Dexter. I never really got into the TV show, but there's a series of books. And I read the first book and it was really good. But the first book was like the entire first season in one book. So I didn't read any of the other ones, but it was really good. I just never found the other ones. If you want a mystery book, I recommend the Shepherd's Sister trilogy. It's a Hallmark series, but it's so good. Maybe I'll have to look into it. Oh, we've got another spammer. Go away, please. We don't want you here. Bye. Kevin says you do your art and watch movies. I do that too, where I'll like put YouTube on or a movie, occasionally a TV show, and I'll do like my crafts or whatever too. True Blood was based on the Sookie Stackhouse series by Charlaine Harris. I didn't know that either. Huh. So is there two different book series then? Like Sookie Stack? Is it kind of like Mortal Instruments and Harry Potter, where like Mortal Instruments started as Harry Potter fan fiction and then became like its own separate entity? Or like it one was inspired by the other? Or is it like a spin-off? Or was the series renamed after the TV show came out? I don't know. I don't know enough about it. But yeah, so right now I'm doing A Darker Shade of Magic. I've got so many books on my shelf to read, but I find it so difficult to rationalize actually sitting down and reading a physical book and not doing anything else because it feels like I've got so much to do that it's just not productive to do that as much as I would love to do it. So I'll listen to an audiobook and complete something. So like at least I enjoy crafting, but I'm still able to like record a video and then do a voiceover later. So I'm still able to create content and I'm still able to clean my house, do my laundry, keep working, and that feels more productive to me. But I would also love to sit down. Like, I've got some classics on my shelf. I've got like Jurassic Park, the book on my shelf. I really want to read that. Also, just seen the trailer for that, like the final installment or whatever of Jurassic World. That should be interesting, I think. I've got even Lethal White, Robert Galbraith, aka J.K. Rowling. I really want to finish that, and I know the next book in that series is out, but it's been sitting half read on my shelf forever. And like there's just so many things on my shelf right now that I really want to read that I just haven't gotten around to. Lately, I started listening to audiobooks because I used to read so much and now I prioritize crafting and it was cutting into my reading significantly. I'm loving listening to audiobooks now. That's kind of where I was getting at too, where I just like didn't have the time in the day to do both hobbies if I was sitting and physically reading the actual like physical book. It took me a while to get used to audiobooks and like I don't know, I feel like there's a way to listen to them, which sounds kind of weird, but I feel like you have to listen to them in a particular way and get used to listening to them before you can actually actively do things. So it was kind of killer to me that in that transition period, I would have to literally sit and do nothing and just listen. But now I can do so much and get so much done. But I also feel like that's never really giving myself a break, In the beginning of 2021, I was on a Chinese and Korean drama streak, but I just can't find someone else who also watches them. I never got into them. My stepsister actually taught in Korea for a few years, and she got into some of the K-dramas and stuff. And by extension, my stepmom did because she was sending them to her. Okay, still got like an inch left here. So I know of them and I've heard they're really good, but I've never watched them either. Honestly, same. Honestly, same. I haven't finished a book since late November. Yeah, like and speaking of like actual physical books, I think well over a year. I think well over a year for me, maybe 2 or 3. This was I had to look back to do with the True Blood and Sookie Stackhouse thing. Yeah, I had no idea either. You've watched the full series? I haven't even watched the full series. I didn't get into it at the time that it was on. The Jurassic Park books are so good. Oh my gosh, you're killing me. I also have Wicked down here too, and I've never seen the musical. Always really wanted to, but I have that on my shelf too. Like I have a lot of books that have been sitting on my shelf for like a good few years, and I just I want to read them so bad, but I also like feel like I can't really rationalize it. So I may just buy them as audiobooks at some point. But yeah, I want to get through my audiobooks that I have before I renew my Audible membership. So I finished my work. It's not the best, but at least it's complete. There you go. There you go. Not bad at all. I believe that the books came first and they renamed it for the show. The first season is basically the first book of this series, Dead Until Dark. Okay, that's what I wondered because I had heard of Sookie Stackhouse as a series before, and then True Blood. And then I thought Sookie was a character in True Blood. So I was like, wait, is one a spinoff? Are they the same? Was it just renamed? That makes sense, though. Good job, Amanda. Someone is giving you some clapping emojis. I'm on my second book in a reread of a Disney Park book series, which is also a mystery series. Cool. Is that a Disney Park series? Is that is it like just a mystery series that someone has wrote taking place at Disney, like at the different Disney parks? Or is it an actual like Disney book with characters that they've created sort of thing? You know what I mean? You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? Feel like I'm slowly pushing myself farther and farther away. Have you read All the Bright Places? I have not read it. I had the audiobook on CDs like 3 years ago in my possession, and I do actually have them all on my iTunes, so I could read it. I know of it. I've heard good things about it, but I have not gotten through it yet. I don't listen to audiobooks. I just watch something or listen to music. I will watch something or listen to music too. I mean, like different strokes for different folks. Some people just don't like it. Or I know like when I first started, I had a really, really hard time being able to do anything while listening to an audiobook. Like it definitely took some like training to be able to do it. A bunch of people are saying good job, Amanda. I love how I say that, like you aren't reading it yourself, but yeah, what else? Like, yeah, I've got so many things on my shelves that I just haven't read yet. Like these upper shelves, obviously this top shelf is all like Harry Potter related. I know someone shouted out that they saw the Crimes of Grindelwald up there last time. Yeah, that whole top shelf is like Harry Potter related stuff and books. And then the second shelf is like some of my favorite series. And they were on the top two shelves so that my daughter couldn't reach them. And then everything else was sent to the sacrificial lambs. So the third shelf is like series that I still really like. And the bottom shelf is series that I'm not super attached to anymore or that I haven't read yet. And then there's a bunch of books when I moved in. I just didn't have the room that I gave away. Yes, it's the Kingdom Keepers. It's actually Disney characters and some made for the books. They're by Ridley Pearson. Kingdom Keepers. I don't think I've ever heard of that series before. Megan, instead of saying someone, you can use my name, LOL, either my screen name or the real name, which is Sharon. Hi, nice to meet you, Megan. Hi, Sharon. I apologize because I feel awkward just going by like usernames sometimes because I feel like, yes, people have like chosen them and stuff, but I feel like it's awkward and less personal if I'm like, Lil Brat says, like, it's nothing against your choice of username. It's not, I just personally feel awkward saying people's like usernames. So I apologize. I will try to remember that your name is Sharon and refer to you as Sharon instead of someone. The first chapter of the first book isn't that interesting, but it gets better after that. Oh, the Kingdom Keepers. I'm going to Google this and see what it looks like. I have never heard of this. Oh, Kevin has sent me pictures. This is some of the pages from the books. Oh, cute little family pictures. That's awesome, Kevin. It looks like it was a really thoughtful, nice book. I picked this up to look up what Kingdom Keepers was. Kingdom Keeper. If I could type, that'd be great. Kingdom. Thank you. Keepers. The Kingdom Keepers novel series. Oh. How many books are in this series? 6? I'm seeing Kingdom series. Oh, no, maybe that's a different series. Cool. Interesting. Where was I? I miss reading my books, but yes, my knitting and crocheting has taken up most of my time. Yeah, it's kind of bittersweet. I feel like at a certain point, you can only do one or the other. The days where you used to have time to do both are long gone. Do you like Stephen King? He's one of my favorite authors, and I also like the movies of his books. I've watched a few of the movies, and I only read, was it Dr. Sleep? That was a compilation of short stories that he put out a few years ago. That's the only thing I've actually read by him. I do have some stuff on my shelf to read by him. What is it that I have? The Dark Tower or something like that? Would that make sense? I did pick up some of his books to read because I've heard really, really good things, but I have really only seen his movies. So when I watched the replay of your last live, I was working on a challenge bracelet on Bracelet Book 52526. The most recently uploaded pic is mine. In that video, it was most recently added, or it is done now, and you have put the picture on there. 26. Let me see. 52526. That's what you said, right? Yes. Oh my gosh, excuse me. This one? Is that you? Oh my gosh. See, you found neon thread. Why do you have to be like this light? You've found neon thread. I don't know if how well you guys can see that, but there's some beautiful neon colors in there. And like jealous, because I definitely do not have those colors in my collection. But very good job. Very fun. There's only 2 pictures on there, so both of them look good. So I'm not sure if that was last week that we had looked, but when I was like 7, there used to be Disney movies on TV, but I didn't know English at the time, and then I heard their stories a million times from other people that I'm not really interested anymore. You know what though? The Disney Channel movies are like different than the Disney movies, if that makes sense. Like, I don't really like, I know they're all Disney, but like in my head, they're like 2 completely separate things. Although that's all good moving. Thanks, Sharon. I'm glad you're okay with that, because like, yeah. Hi, what's your favorite color? My favorite color is dark green. My name is Isabel, by the way. I don't expect you to remember, but just in case you ever want to refer to me. I try to remember anyone who's given me their name, just because I feel like it's more personal. Don't anyone feel like you have to give me your name, but I will try to remember everyone's name who does give me their name. But obviously, there is a saturation point where I may forget, but I will try and remember. Sharon is Lil Brat, and Isabel is Eyes in the Hands Art. Okay. I'm going to try and remember this. Sounds interesting, Sharon. I remember this. Oh, I mean pause. See, this is okay. What's your favorite color? I just answered that. I think you wrote it in there again. Have you read any of the Inkheart books? They are older but very good. I got all 3 of them on my shelf down here. Inkheart, what is it? Inkheart, Ink Spell, and Ink Death. I really enjoyed those books, actually. I really did. I know some people didn't really get into them, but I really liked them. Yeah, I thought they were really, really fun. I thought it was a really cool concept that someone could like read stuff out of a book. I thought it was really fun. I don't know. When are you posting the 24-hour challenge video? When we are done on stream, it's like pretty much completely edited. I just have to export it and make the thumbnail for it. So I'm hoping that will be up tonight. Yeah, that's me. Yes, Isabel. I will try and remember it. So hard. I got the neon string at Walmart. It's not the best quality, but I use it when neon is unsurpassable. It's thicker and less strong than DMC, but I tolerate it sometimes. I think I may have seen that there before, and I think it's a similar brand to, it might even be the same brand as that Friends Forever stuff that I had from Walmart like a few years ago. Because I remember that multicolor pack had one like really neon green yellow color in it. But yeah, so dark green is your favorite as well, and maybe pink or blue. I definitely like dark green, and I do like blues. Blues are really nice too. Loretta says that's where she gets her string too, or Amazon. And she's got the neon string from Walmart that you're talking about too. See, lately my Walmart has only been carrying that friendship / craft cord stuff. And I just, no. No, I will drive all the way to the other end of town and pick out singles, which is impressive because I do not have a particular patience for picking out singles for stuff. Or I will ask if anyone's going into the city on the weekend and ask them to go to Michael's and pick me up a pack. The effort you put into remembering names is much appreciated by us. If I could speak for the viewers, very understandable to forget since there are so many of us. I really try though, because I know you guys, like especially the people that I see coming up in comments and in the chat all the time, because I really appreciate you guys coming to the live stream and showing up and commenting on my videos and watching my videos and stuff. So I feel like trying to remember your name is literally like the least I can do when there's literally been times that the revenue from YouTube has been the only way I can pay for groceries. So like I'm luckily like I got promoted at work and stuff, so that like a while ago now. So that's not the case anymore, but there was a period where that was the case. So for me to try and remember everyone's names, that's literally like the least I can do. And I hope that it makes people feel more appreciated and that like I really recognize that you guys are here, and I'm thankful for you. Those books are so good. I read them forever ago, Lee. Which books are we talking about now? Oh, the Inkheart ones. The Inkheart ones? They were. I loved them. And then someone told me once that they didn't really like them. And I was like, how did you not like them? But everyone is entitled to their own tastes and opinions. Yes, they're great books, and her other ones are good too, like The Thief Lord. I also read The Thief Lord. I have it tucked away in a box of some of my older like kids books for my daughter when she gets old enough, and I'm pretty sure that's in there as well, and we'll definitely do like Inkheart and stuff. You think the neon is J&P Coats. J&P Coats used to sell singles at my Walmart, and I have not seen them in there since, and their singles were really, really nice, like comparable to DMC. I love them. Hello, Amanda. You almost missed this. That's okay. You're here now. Our Walmart is only starting to sell the friendship string too. Their hobby section is getting smaller. Ours got smaller, and then all of a sudden it changed again. And I don't know whether it was just the upheaval in people taking on new hobbies and stuff, but I've found now the majority of our hobby section is wool and like yarn. And I found we're getting a lot of yarn that we didn't get before. Like before, it was definitely Walmart was very much like Red Heart and Burnett, like the really classic acrylic basic stuff. And now they're carrying a little more, like a few Lion Brand things, like the Lion Brand Wool Ease. Never seen it at my Walmart until this like past year. And now yarn takes up like a full double-sided aisle plus like one side of the next aisle and the entire like back. So yeah, like the actual hobby area definitely reduced, but the yarn area has expanded. So I don't know what they're doing. They're also pulled out half of like the jewelry section and are selling like a random produce. Like one day you can go in there and buy carrots and onions, and the next day it's like, no, there's only bananas. Like I don't know what they're doing, whether they're planning on finally remodeling it or what. But our Walmart's just is wild, and I don't know what they're doing. Oh, hey, I'm turning 40 next Thursday. Whoop, 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 whoop. Happy birthday in advance. I hope you have a great day. A bunch of people also say happy birthday. Congrats on 14K. You deserve it. You're my favorite YouTuber. Thank you. Yes, we just passed 14K just like yesterday, actually. So that was really, really exciting. I can't believe we're already at 14K. That's actually crazy. But it's really exciting. And it just keeps going up, which I don't know. In my head, I felt like there would be like a point of stagnation where it just wouldn't really go up anymore. And it just keeps seems to going up. So it's actually crazy. We appreciate you and are thankful for you too, Megan. Thank you. Whole bunch of happy birthdays to Sharon. Oh my gosh, I haven't thought about the Thief Lord in so long. I honestly hadn't either until she mentioned it. And I was like, oh my gosh, yes. Another great one from my childhood. Yes, I remember starting into that book and thinking like the first time I was like, I don't really like this. And then one time I had read like everything else in the house except for that book. And I finally sat down and read it and it was so good. There was an Inkheart movie, but it was not good. I remember watching it and I don't think I ever saw the very end of it because if I remember correctly, I watched it when I was on a flight home from somewhere, and when we I had like 5 minutes left, and as soon as we touched down, they like turned off. It was before you could watch the videos. Like now, they don't have screens on the back of the seats. You like connect in with your device, and then you can watch it through the app. At that time, there were still screens in the back of the seats, and I remember as soon as we landed, they shut down the TVs, and I missed like the last, I don't know, 5-10 minutes of the video, and I was so mad because I was like, gonna have to sit on the plane for another 20 minutes while you park and everyone in front of me gets their bags and things and starts getting off. I could have finished this, but I know it wasn't exactly like the movie. I don't recall it being absolutely terrible, but I was also like, that's a long time ago. I don't really remember it. Anyone ever read Running Out of Time series? Definitely recommend for young readers. So good. I don't recall that one personally. I don't think I've ever even heard of it. We're on a books to read chat arc. Yes, we are. We are indeed. I recently started reading books translated from Japanese. Oh, may not be for everyone because their plot development is quite peaceful. I mean, I don't think I've ever read. I don't think I've ever read a book that's even been placed in Japan. If I'm being, like, I'm trying to think now. I mean, to be utterly fair, a lot of my books take place in fictional places, but out of like the I don't think I've read anything that's been placed in Japan, let alone like translated from Japanese. Kevin has a cousin named Sharon. That's funny. Is her birthday coincidentally anytime soon as well? Some of the titles, "Before the coffee gets cold," and "There's no such thing as an easy job." Hmm, I don't know if I was they sound like very contemporary novels, which is not, I will admit, right up my alley. Unrelated topic. Anyone else find it harder to make normal patterns with embroidery floss versus crochet yarn or craft cord? Feels like the normals made with embroidery floss tend to appear more wonky. We were talking about this earlier actually. Like you are like telepathically downloading the chat while you aren't here. Um we actually were talking about like craft cord slash friendship thread and crochet yarn and all that. So I personally have only used like cheap craft cord, and I found it snaps way too much for me to ever actually use. So I always go for embroidery floss, but I don't know because I've never used like the DMC like cotton pearl or anything, how it would not. And I know some creators, like Claire, for instance, I know she likes to use the DMC like cotton pearl and like swears by it, but I have never used it, and the craft cord just doesn't do it for me. I knot too tight, it just snaps. So for me, embroidery floss is just it's the way of life. But I don't know about anyone else. Congrats on the subscriber increase. Thank you. It's crazy. Doo, 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 doo. I see your message here, Kevin. Hold on, let me get to it. I saw the little notification. Your friend Rachel is talking to me. Yes, I did chat with Rachel briefly. She sent me some of her pictures because she's into photography actually when we had chatted last. I think she may have messaged me again, and I'm not sure because I know she had said that she was going to try to talk to me the next day. You know what? She did, and I never responded back. One second. There we go. I feel bad when I don't respond. So I had to respond to Rachel. Yes, I did chat with your friend Rachel. She seems very nice and her pictures are very nice. She sent me, like I said, some of her photography stuff. Creative Fantasy says that she's used both and personally doesn't find a difference. Might be the size of crochet thread you're using. That's possible too. Yeah, the only difference I super find has to do with it snapping, and I just actually, there's a video on my channel. I think it might be my first speed knot with the upside down technique and that, like, sunset lighthouse pattern. I feel like it might have been that one that in literally the first, like, 8 rows, my craft cord snapped, like, 10 times, and I was, like, ready to rage quit. Um You think knot consistency becomes more crucial with embroidery thread versus yarn. Yarn is more forgiving of slight differences in knot tightness. I think that's do you think that has something to do with um how do I phrase this? Something to do with like the ply of the yarn, like there's just more squish to yarn. So like it's just more forgiving. Like if you don't tie it quite as tight, just the fibers are naturally just a little more bulky. What is that? Bulky and kind of fill in that noticeable space difference. Whereas like embroidery floss doesn't really have that same level of like squish. You know what I mean? Does that make any sense? Um, yeah, I definitely have a strong preference towards embroidery thread, but I've never used actual, crochet thread. And yarn I've only used very sparingly. It's kind of like a when I have nothing else on hand, I'll use yarn, but I think that's mostly because a lot of the yarn I have is, like, acrylic stuff. It's not, like, particularly soft. Though I am finding I don't know if any of you guys knit or crochet a lot, but I am finding, like, this is a red heart yarn that I'm working with, and this is just, like, their yarn has gotten softer. Because I remember being in grade 8 and knitting my first drawstring backpack and actually getting, like, rug burn on my fingers from using it, and now, like, I don't get that anymore. Like, it's still not, like, super, super soft yarn because I didn't buy something that was, like, super, super soft, but this is definitely much more wearable and much softer than the Red Heart yarn and, like, the Bernat acrylic used to be. Am I the only one who thinks this? Like, am I nuts or did they actually change it? By the way, I love how now, craft or oh my gosh, by the way, I love now a craft topic is now unrelated, really though. Books and t we've done books, TV shows, movies. We've covered basically all the companion topics to crafting in this live stream. What time is it for me? It is almost quarter after 10 right now. By the way, since there's 2 Amandas, you can call me Mandy if that's easier. I will try and remember that. Just don't ever change your profile picture because I won't remember which Amanda otherwise. So I will try and remember that just Amanda is okay with Mandy. And then there is Amanda Faith, who is Amanda Faith. Or maybe I could just call Amanda Faith, and Amanda Amanda. And then I can just then I read the usernames, but it's like a name. I don't know. I will try and remember Mandy. The Japanese to English translated books. The 2 I mentioned are definitely not from the blatantly fantasy genre. Japanese fiction tends to have more semi-real magic kind of storylines, kind of like dreams. Oh, cool. That's actually kind of interesting because I found I definitely still love my fantasy. I definitely still love like that supernatural element or that magical, fantastical element. But I do find myself leaning a lot more now towards honestly when I read like adult novels, I find myself gearing more towards like murder mysteries and like true crime and stuff now, which is such a difference because I used to like strictly read fantasy. Like that was just it. But I've been trying to expand my horizons some. Still it doesn't really encompass contemporary. Like there's a couple contemporary books that I've read and found to be okay, but for the most part, it's not really my jam. But that sounds like a good like in between. Like it's kind of real, but there's like a little touch of magic. That actually sounds intriguing to me. Yes, I think your idea about yarn is right. As you continue to knot, yarn adjusts to the overall pattern more readily than floss. Oh my gosh, excuse me. I think also, yeah, I think just because the fibers like are much more there's just like more air in them. I don't know, they're squishier. So I think like you have like I know you have the ability to block knit and crochet patterns. So like it is a little more flexible, a little more adjusty. Whereas like you can do something kind of comparative to blocking with knotting, but it doesn't adjust to the same level because there's just not as much space in between like the woven um, fibers. Toes. Oh, man. Are we going into a toes conversation again? We have done a stream about toes. um, I like using yarn because you can buy a lot of the same color, whereas embroidery floss only really comes in packs of those skeins. That is definitely true. I've thought about switching more to just yarn for that reason, but then I'm like, yeah, but if I did what would be an alpha bracelet with, let's say, like 20 strings, and I did it with this, I feel like it would end up huge. But if you got like a fingering weight or like a fine weight yarn or something, you could definitely get a lot more out of that, and then you'd get a normal size bracelet. That may be the way to go. I don't know. What I have wanted to try is Naughty Jules on Instagram has said that she likes to use actually tapestry thread in her really large knotting projects. And I think I mentioned this last live stream that my local craft store here said they were getting some in, and I really want to try that. And that comes on like big cones. So that may be a way to go, but I haven't looked at the price of it yet. So I don't know. I think I might try that. We'll see. About embroidery versus crochet yarn. Maybe it's just DMC, particularly for normals, whether I knot very tightly or somewhat tightly. The bracelet tends to have more gaps for the light to go through. Honestly, like as you guys know, I have a tendency to make more alphas than normals. So I can't even say that I've noticed because it's been so long since I've made like a large enough normal that that would be noticeable in, to be honest. But I do find that I get just in general, it's easier to get gaps in a normal bracelet than in an alpha for me, anyways. But are the Japanese books like the magical surrealism genre of some popular fictional Latin American works? I'm not sure. Perhaps, maybe. Hold on. I feel like I missed something here. Sharon, you started following me on Instagram. Awesome. Thank you. I don't post there super consistently, I'm not gonna lie. But I appreciate the follow. Um One of my favorite books ever is called The House of the Spirits by Isabel Hollande. Your name is Isabel. Is this your book, ma'am? What is it? The House of the Spirits. That sounds interesting too. I think some of my favorite books, obviously, Harry Potter becomes my favorite just because of the amount of like nostalgia attached to it. But I love the Cormoran Strike series by Robert Galbraith, which is also technically J.K. Rowling. The Six of Crows duology by Lee Bardugo, I absolutely loved that. And the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. The Host by Stephanie Meyer. I really like that book. I really do. Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell is great as well. The Heroes of Olympus series. It is, yeah, the Heroes of Olympus series is good too. There's so many good books. Girl with the Dragon Tattoo was a really good series, but it was really like heavy. What else do I have here? I've got so many, it's not even funny. Do. The DMC thread works well for alphas though, especially when you're trying to do the clean back. I expect it would because I feel like it's easier to be completely consistent with it because it's got less strands in it. Yeah, you could call them magical surrealism. Okay. Okay. Pros of yarn. You can buy much more in length than floss, but floss has much more choices in terms of color shades. That is true, especially like DMC seems to have literally like every shade of every color, it seems. But they don't sell them all in like large quantities. I know DMC started selling embroidery floss on large cones, but it's a very select color range that they've done that with. Like they've done it with, I want to say it's like black, white, red, like one red, one blue, and one purple or something like that. The last I checked, which was a while ago. Speaking of toes, I want to paint my toenails with the glow in the dark nail polish I have. Glow in the dark nail polish? That sounds awesome. My aunt had sent me an Amazon gift card. And so I got the stuff to do acrylic nails. That's what I have on my fingers right now. We will not be zooming in closely because they are lumpy and not great. It didn't actually come with the brush I needed. And then I got some gel polishes and I want to do my toes with the gel polish because I've had gel polish for a while and like with that cures with the light and everything and it lasts forever. So I can go like forever without painting my toes again. And that's what I want to do. I want to use some of my new colors to paint my toes, but I don't have any glow in the dark. That would just be way too cool. Yeah, in the Chinese dramas I watched also had really subtle magic elements. Sometimes it's weird because normal people are flying out of nowhere as they don't really give context about that part. Interesting. Oh, it looks like we've got some messages. I see a few people have messaged me. Yes. Oh my goodness. Okay. I make more alphas than normals too, but I don't notice a difference in my nodding appearance between the two methods. Also primarily use DMC and don't have the issue you described, Amanda. It's probably technique. Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure. I definitely notice a little bit of a difference. I do find it generally has to do with me not tightening the first half of the knot into an appropriate place. Like I find if I try to knot really, really fast, that tends to be when I get more of the like kind of like gaps. And it's not even like gaps. Like if you have it against something solid, it doesn't look bad. It's when you hold it to the light and you can see like this little holes between all the knots. But generally I find I get more of that when I'm trying to knot faster. Yeah, I love Harry Potter. It's one of my favorites too. Right though, it's just I don't know. There's something about it that just I love how there's like fluffies from my yarn just flying everywhere. Um there's just something about it that just seems so cozy. Like I don't know whether it's me projecting like the experiences that I've had and like onto the books and then the memories that I then associated with the books to the actual books, because I know there's some people who have gone back and read them now and they're like, "This is horrible." But, I don't know, I find them so cozy and just nostalgic, and I just love them. So when people ask me what my favorite book is, it's generally like, I assume you're not talking about Harry Potter because everyone knows that I love Harry Potter. So I just like it's now just assumption that it's like Harry Potter is not included in this list because Harry Potter is just its own thing. I found Good Omens, the book, quite good too. I have heard of Good Omens and I never read it. That's Neil Gaiman, if I remember correctly. I think. I know of it. I haven't read it though. I have glow in the dark yarn. They make glow. I mean, it would make sense they make glow in the dark yarn because I know they make like glow in the dark embroidery floss and stuff, but I've never seen it. So to me, it's also like there's glow in the dark yarn. What? You made a scarf with it and it's fun to wear at night. Oh my gosh, that would be so cool because there's a skating trail in the park that's like right by my house. And they have parts of it lit, but there's parts of it that are still like on the outer edges of it that are a little bit darker. That would look so cool. Yeah, maybe I'm just not used to using DMC. I rarely buy them because cost. Honestly, I prefer to buy packs than singles, and that's the main reason I don't buy DMC because I don't go into the store generally with a game plan of what bracelets I want to make. In the off chance that I'm like, I really want to make this pattern and I do go searching for it, I tend to lean towards like DMC because I know they're going to have the biggest shade range. But price wise for singles, I agree. They're a little pricey, to be honest. What am I knitting? I am working on a sweater for my friend's birthday. Her birthday party was last weekend, so I didn't get it finished in time. But I've only got like 2 inches left of the last sleeve, and then the rest of it is complete. I'll show you guys the pieces. So I've got needles on these because I don't actually have stitch holders. So these are like needles that aren't needed for the project. They're just holding the stitches until I get to the point where I have to like knit it all together or whatever. So here is the front portion. It is a Weasley sweater. I wanted it done for her birthday because she was having a Harry Potter themed birthday. And I was like, how cute would it be? And her name is Rayanne, so she gets the little R. So this is the front. It's stocking out, so the edges are curled, so I'll have to like block it and stuff. But that's the front. And then this is the back panel. Again, it's like the edges are kind of curled because it's stocking it. And then this is the other sleeve. And then I am working on the final sleeve, and I've only got a couple inches left. So like literally like 2 inches. And then I just got to sew it together. Oh, I dropped that. It's way down on the floor. So I'm pretty excited. And then because I've got so much yarn, I'm going to be starting into another project for my friend whose birthday is like next weekend. So that's what I'm working on. And I'm using like the official pattern out of this book, which coincidentally, the friend I'm knitting the sweater for got me this book like 2 years ago. So I thought it'd be kind of nice little round circle moment that like, hey, you got me this and I made you something from it. So that's what I'm working on. Also, I got glow-in-the-dark pony beads and made some bead animals with them. I'm in love. We'll send a picture on Instagram soon. I remember having glow-in-the-dark pony beads at some of my friends' house to do the same thing, like make the lizards and stuff. Yes, I did have those. Ooh, it looks like Kevin's got some more beads for some crafts. Very nice. It looks like Kevin's working with glass beads. There's some fun ones. This one looks like, I think the one strand there is like little elephants. Very nice. You can maybe try splitting your yarn if you're concerned about the thickness. That could be a way to go. I mean, I have so much embroidery floss that I really don't need to be considering using yarn right now for it. But definitely, if I get in a pinch, I might try that next time. Yeah, that's what I meant by light gaps. And yes, agreed that it's worse when one knots fast. Yeah, if I'm really paying attention to it, it's definitely okay. There was a point when I was doing alphas and normals like pretty consistently at the same time, and I wasn't finding that issue as much. I was finding my normals were still really tightly knotted, but now that I found I've wandered over to alphas more, as I go back to normals, I find it a little more of an issue. So I don't know. It's probably just a matter of relearning where I should hold my strings as I knot over them again, just because it has been like so long since I've knotted a normal that's honestly more complex than like a chevron. But because my chevrons, for instance, don't have any light gaps. Like my chevrons don't have any light gaps like at all. So it's definitely something to do with technique, I think. I find books 1 to 3 in Harry Potter cozier. It's harder for me to reread the later volumes. 1 to 3, super easy to breeze through. I find I like book 4, and then I find we hit book 5, and I still really like it, but I feel like it's a little more information dump on the wizarding world. Whereas before it was like you were very slowly being like spoon-fed information about the wizarding world. And then you hit book 5 and all of a sudden it's like a saturation of information. And I find like if I'm trying to reread the series, I generally get to like book 5 and that's where I run out of steam. So I've read books like 1 through 5 multiple times. And then 6 and 7, I've only read a couple of times. About Good Omens. Yes, Neil Gaiman. I thought so. I haven't read it though. Yes, I meant I want to get some glow in the dark string, but never heard of the yarn. I don't think I've ever seen glow in the dark yarn either. It doesn't surprise me that it would exist, but I don't think I've ever seen it. Like, I think I've seen projects made with glow in the dark embroidery floss before. And I think I have seen it at Michael's once or twice. I don't think I've ever seen glow in the dark yarn. I have a multicolored yarn, but like all the colors in it are neon. I can't really find a pattern to use it for though. Ooh, so it like changes. I assume like it kind of like gradient changes into the different colors. You can always just do like a blanket or something. Like I don't know how much of it you have. You could always just do like it doesn't have to be something to wear because I feel like that might be more difficult. But it's always fun to perk up your house or your room or whatever with just the brightest colors. It just makes me so happy. The glow in the dark yarn is Lion Brand. Oh, I might have to look into that. Oh man, your sweater. Oh my god, the sweater is looking so good. Oh man, your sweater knit looks really neatly knit. Thank you. I think I'm really excited to see how it actually sews up and looks when it's done. So like I am 100% finishing this tonight. Like that's just it. Like cut and dry. I am finishing this project tonight and then I will probably I'll figure out how I'm going to block it because it's acrylic. So generally speaking, from what I know, steam blocking is the best for acrylic. But I also know like throwing it in the washing machine will block it to an extent as well. So I don't know which I'm going to do at this point, but I do want to see what it looks like. Oh no, my Coke is gone. Kevin sent a picture. Was that? Oh my goodness. I was like, is that the ones you already sent me? But it looks like there's more here. Ooh. Kevin's got a dish of glow-in-the-dark beads. It's hard to see. You can't really see. You can see like a glowing blob in the dark. Just because obviously in the dark quality's lower. So all you guys can see is a glowing blob in the dark. I can see like a little more context, like he's holding a little container. That's fun. Honestly, stuff like that, like glow in the dark stuff, is fun. And I don't ever seem to find that stuff here. Like I think if I went to a Michael's or something, you probably would. I used to way back in the day have some glow in the dark Rex lace, like that plastic lace stuff. And that was fun too. Have some like glow in the dark keychains and things, but yeah, I haven't stumbled on like glow in the dark yarn. That would be so much fun. Just like glow in the dark hat or glow in the dark. Let's be honest. I would go full 150. I'd be like, this is my glow in the dark sweater. Like I would go that far just because. I'd probably then like never wear it, but it would be really fun. Oh my gosh. Speaking of chevrons, are you joining in the timed chevron February challenge on Instagram? I didn't know there was a timed challenge. Who is running it? I was not. Okay, I'm getting tangled. I was not aware there was one. What is it? Who's running it? Let me know, and I'll definitely like look in on it and see. Faux show. Oh my god, yes. I also run out of steam the most at volume 5 of Harry Potter. I always just thought it was because I got to book 5 and was like tired of the characters at that point because I would read them like back to back to back to back to back. And then I kind of realized, like I've mentioned the podcast Potterless on here before, and it's a guy who's like my age now reading the Harry Potter books for the first time, and he like has guests on and stuff, and they talk about different things in the Harry Potter novels that like as an adult he's now looking at, and he's like trying to figure it out, and he makes guesses as to what's going to happen like in the upcoming chapters and stuff, and sometimes it's really hilarious. But then I've gotten up to the point where it's like book 5 now, and the biggest thing he's expressing is how difficult it is to get through book 5 just because there's a lot of information and it really slows the pace of the novels. And I don't know why I hadn't really clued into that before, but I think that's definitely the case. Send pictures of the glow animals to your Instagram. I also want glow yarn. Sounds amazing, but I've never seen that in shops. Me neither. Me neither. I don't know if it's Lion Brand. I assume it has to be at like Michael's or something. Ooh, we also have a pet picture, folks. Look at it. Oh, handsome boy or girl. Handsome fluff. So cute. Yes, I mentioned that very quickly. I am getting my cats back. For those of you who didn't know, when I moved, I'm technically not allowed pets here. Like they're allowed in the building, but because I rent, I'm not supposed to have them. But very cute. It looks like we've got a frog and a dragonfly in glow in the dark beads. Sorry, I'm just gonna. Oh, you managed to catch the glow on those good with whatever camera setting you're using. Wow. Oh my gosh, so fun. I remember making those when I was younger and using like the glow in the dark beads for like the little lizard's feet and stuff. Yeah, so I'm getting basically when I was moving, this was kind of like the cheapest place I could find. So I left both of our cats with my ex-boyfriend because he was staying in the apartment we'd been in before. But now he had like re-signed the lease and everything. Now his lease is up, he's moving, and he's not able to take them where he is moving to. But he's moving, and my lease is only for like a couple, like 2 more months after he moves. So I'm just gonna have the cats here for like 2 months. And then I may move. I'd like to get a bigger place. But that's kind of exciting because I do miss my cats. I am very allergic to them. So it's kind of a little bit of a love-hate anticipation going on right now. But I will be able to show you guys my fluffs soon. So that's kind of exciting. What's your favorite part, Stern? Oh, I see your next comment. What's your favorite pattern? That I've made or that I have seen? Because there's a lot of really incredible patterns that I have seen that I've never made. But out of what I've made, like I'm really loving my Slytherin house crest. I haven't done any more on it since last live stream. When I showed you guys, I'm really loving that one. Obviously I'm not done it yet. I do love the ship bookmark that I made like eternity ago. But then there's also, I showed you guys in a video I want to say it was like my 1,000 subscribers video. I really love there's a John Lennon pattern that I really, really like. And yeah, like, I don't know. There's so many patterns. There's a pattern I showed in the last live stream with a camera, and it's got like a mountain range and water and everything coming out of it. It looks really, really good. Someone just finished that on Instagram. Who was it? I can't remember right now, but someone just finished that while hanging on Instagram, and it looks so good. Like, so good. So there's so many really nice patterns. Isabel, you ran out of steam when Dumbledore dies. Yes. Yeah, that's... Oh, honestly, the first time I ever cried reading books was in the Harry Potter series when Sirius died. Like, that, like, crushed my little dreams. And then when Dumbledore died, I, like, ugly cried at that one, too. I bought that yarn for bracelets, so it's, like, thin. Never really thought about trying knitting. Maybe I can, but I have only one hank of it. How much does a project like that require? For, like, a sweater, you would need a lot. But if you're doing a hat or something, like, I don't know how big your hank of yarn is. And I don't know how thick the yarn actually is. So it could change depending on that. Generally speaking, though, if you're knitting or crocheting a hat or something, it doesn't take a lot. So a sweater would take quite a bit, though, for sure. Is it normal to block friendship bracelets also? Like, maybe to wash it after you finish making them? So the thing with friendship bracelets is you can kind of block to an extent, but depending on how tightly you knot and the fibers you're using, it might not do a ton. So I tend to, on a project that I have maybe gone up a bunch of times and it's not quite as smooth as I would like it to be, I generally will get like a Tupperware container and fill it with like hot water and some fabric softener, and I will let the bracelet soak in that for a little bit, and then I'll kind of massage it a bit, and then I will put it on a clean towel and like compress a bunch of the water out and then just let it sit. I know was it Nikki? I think it might have been Nikki. One of you guys had also said that you do it, but you, when it's wet, you like rub it back and forth on the edge of a table, and it just kind of like the massaging or like the rubbing on the table kind of just helps wear that fabric in a little bit. Like, you know how when you wear a bracelet, like this bracelet, for instance, is much softer, much more pliable than it was before. And sometimes those things even out with that. But generally speaking, because it's not, you're not going to see like a crazy drastic difference. You're just basically softening the fabric. You're basically just softening the fabric is essentially what it is. And you can manipulate it to some extent. But honestly, unless something really doesn't come out great for me, I don't even bother to try. So I don't think it's really super normal. I think you might have better effects if you are a looser knotter than I am. But you can, to some extent, smooth it out a bit just by softening the fabric a little. It kind of lets the knots settle a bit. But I don't know that it's as dramatic as like blocking a knit or crochet project. What is your favorite alpha you have ever made? My favorite one that I've actually completed, I think that I've actually completed start to finish, is probably that ship bookmark. I just really love that pattern. I'm trying to think of the other ones I made. I know when I finish the Slytherin one, that will probably be my favorite. But yeah, I think probably that ship one. There's just something about the aesthetic of that pattern that I really, really love. I don't know the number off the top of my head, but it's in my entire collection videos. You'll see it in there, and the pattern is linked there. But that's probably my favorite one. You sent a picture of your cat just for fun. I think that is the cat that I probably showed because I just saw your message now. Not My Story and Megs Makes Bracelets are running a timed chevron challenge. Look up the hashtag timed chevron challenge. I will definitely have to look that up. Let me see. Timed chevron challenge. I have to actually like go to the original page and see what the dealio is. Make a 12-string chevron and time yourself. Use any colors you want. Not 50 rows total. Don't time anything but the official 50 rows. Oh, cool. I could definitely participate in that. I'm thinking out of curiosity, how many rows are in this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. I could do that easily. I think that's actually a few passes shorter than the one I timed for my video. I do believe. So that would be fun. I'll definitely probably participate in that. Where was I? I know you weren't asking me, but I love so many alphas. But the one most difficult and rewarding one you have done is 95009. I got to look at it. 95009. Ooh. Very cool. That's like a tie-dye sort of, like the background's kind of tie-dye. I know it's like the ink splotches, I think is what it's supposed to look like. I feel like I don't know if I could sit through this one because I feel like it's not a full, like, I don't want to say actual picture because obviously it's a picture, but you know what I mean? Like, it's not like, I feel like there aren't a lot of landmark areas in it where like normally I'm like, oh, you get to like a certain point in the picture and I'm like, oh man. Yeah, I don't that would be a hard one. That would be a hard one. It looks really good though. Um The orange cat is a boy. Okay. um the one I want to do someday that looks hard but great is 106399. 106399. I have this in my to-dos as well. This reminds me of, like, a Bob Ross painting. Like, it's not even gonna show up properly, but it's like a full mountain scene. I've actually thought about putting that one into action, but I would want to go out and get that would like, I would go and pick out specific colors for that. Um Time to stock up on antihistamines, Meg. I know, right? Mm. I'm nervous. It's weird because when I was younger, I had like no reaction to cats. We literally had a cat that I used to like fall asleep every night, hugging it like a teddy bear, like actually squeezing it, like two arms around this cat, and it would stay there. And I never had any issues. And then it was probably around the time that I got pregnant that I started getting like really itchy eyes, sneezing a lot, just really congested and stuff. So I don't know if it's one of those things. Like I know some people say that your allergies like come and go every like 7 years or something like that. I don't know if it's one of those cases or what, but yeah, I think I'm gonna be taking a lot of allergy medication. I can't wait to see your cats, right? I'm excited. Like I said, I'm a little bit like, I'm not excited to be snotting and sneezing all of the time, but I am excited to have my floofies here. So let me see if I can find a picture of them. I'm just scrolling here. Um, one of them is teeny tiny, and yeah, one of them is teeny tiny, and the other one is like massive, should be on a diet. That is the two extremes. Let's see. Okay, they should, that's back a little too far. Okay, so here is, this is one cat. This cat is fully grown and like 6 pounds. I took her to the vet and she was like 5.5 pounds. One is a massive, chunky behemoth. Where is she? Where is she? Oh, there's behemoth. She's like 25 pounds. I agree with you. Patterns are endless and always so pretty, right? I just keep adding to my to-dos. Dude, when I read all about Dumbledore's death, I was weeping for like 5 hours. My mom was like, "Is my child okay?" I was actually we were doing a road trip, and I remember being so mad. We were in Thunder Bay, Ontario, and I really wanted to go to the bookstore the night that they were doing the release, and my mom said no. So the next day, I made my mom, like, walk with me down the 2 blocks to Zellers, which if you're Canadian, you know, if you're not Canadian, you don't know. But to Zellers, and they still had a bunch, and I got one, and I literally spent, like, the entire day reading it. And that was the first one that there was, like, a leak on it, and everyone thought Ron died. And I'm pretty sure it was that one. And, yeah, I just remember, like, reading it, in, like, one day on this road trip, like, not even putting we stopped for lunch, and I read it while I was eating lunch, like, I would not stop. And, yeah, like, that was so sad, I couldn't believe it. I was like, "What?" But the camera alpha pattern finished by Happy String Things. Yes, that's who it was. That's exactly who it was. Let me see if I can find it and I can show you guys because it turned out so cool. Um, Happy String Things right here. Like, I want to make this pattern. I think this pattern looks so good. Oh, it's just beautiful. And their knotting is so clean. It looks really good. Do, 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 do. You sent it. Am I missing something or was that an old message? Oh, there is a notification here. Have I done any bracelets this year? Yes. I did 2 normal bracelets in the 24-hour challenge, and then I did that really long Kumihimo, and then I finished the fall knot along, like, technically I had started that last year, but, I finished it this year. And then I did 2 small normals and, part of my Slytherin wall hanging. But that's really all I've done, like, this year in terms of knotting. So I want to actually get a couple things filmed this weekend. Perhaps another number generator chooses my to do, and maybe an alpha guidebook. We'll see. Those would both be big projects, so we'll see. But yeah, I want to get some stuff filmed this weekend. But I haven't really done a ton of knotting this year. I started on my knit socks that my mom had got me the Harry Potter kit for Christmas, and then after that, I was like, "Man, I hadn't knitted in so long," and I was like, "I really enjoyed that." So then I was like, I made the decision that I was going to knit my friend a sweater, which is what I've been working on, today. And, like, I'm not a super fast knitter, like, some people can knit really, really fast. I'm not one of them. So it's taken me a good few weeks to, like, get that done. When you made that video of small wall hanging with pumpkins, I started the other version, which said boo instead of fall. I was going to post it on Halloween, but couldn't finish it in time. I'm thinking of picking it up again, but it's not fall anymore, so I don't know. Honestly, final installment of the fall not along here is going to be posted next week. So never too late, you know? It'll be ready for next Halloween. That's all. I actually forgot about that wall hanging when I was trying to think back. I really like now that I'm like that just triggered like a bunch of other memories, like the poison apple one and the Snoopy wall hanging. I really love that pattern too that we did for Christmas, not this past year, but the year before. That little Starbucks cup pattern was really fun. I'd like to make that like a series and do another one next year and just kind of like keep to the Starbucks like themed cups because if y'all know, you know, but I love Starbucks. I just love coffee. I really do. So, yeah, I'd forgotten about those. The poison apple pattern was really cool too. That was the last we did a Halloween not along. Oh, I forgot to mention I was going to do a Valentine's not along, and then because I was doing this knit project and really trying to get it done for my friend's birthday, I decided there wasn't enough time. So I think instead we'll do a spring not along, and we can either do that like Easter themed or just like spring in general, which I feel like then that gives me a little bit of time to finish out some projects that I already have. Because the other thing I didn't want to do is start posting a Valentine's not along when I hadn't even finished posting the fall not along. I was like, that just doesn't seem right. So I will have the fall not along all posted. And then I think we'll do a spring one. So if you guys want to see it be actually Easter, or if you just want it to be like spring themed patterns, like birds, little animals, and flowers or something, definitely let me know what your thoughts are on that. But I think that just fit the schedule better. So I opted not to. And maybe next year I had a whole list of patterns that I was looking at for Valentine's. So um maybe next year we'll do a Valentine's one, but it honestly wasn't gonna fit into the schedule, and I didn't want to, like, stress myself out extra. Excuse me. Um, I totally know what you mean, not being able to sit through it. I only finished it because it was a gift from my dad, so that gave me motivation. It's based on fractal math, the generative recursive algorithm called the Mandelbrot set. I thought it was one of those, the thing they use in, like, psychology, the ink blots, I can't remember. There's a formal name for them, but I can't remember what it is. That's what I thought it was. I didn't even realize it was a whole mathematical thing. I just feel like there's not enough, like for me personally, because to my non-math geared brain. Um, it's more of a general vague sort of pattern, so it's not like something like the fall not along pattern where it's like you finish the first leaves and then you're into the start of the pumpkin and then you hit the stem and it's like there's landmarks to like work towards. Um so I yeah, I wouldn't be able to sit through it, I don't think. I don't think like if my life depended on it maybe, but I tell you what, my life doesn't depend on it, so I don't think I could sit through it, but, um, that would be a challenge. Kudos to you for finishing that. What's your favorite Netflix show, and have you ever made a pattern on it? My favorite Netflix show is The Witcher, and I have not made a pattern on it. I have worked on stuff while watching it, but I have not made a Witcher pattern. I have like 12 cats now, and I just got allergies to them, and you're telling me I have to deal with them for 5 more years. That's what I mean. I don't know. I've heard some people say, like, it's this theory that within 7 years, because your cells are always, like, dying and new ones are being created in their place and stuff, that, like, theoretically, in 7 years, all the cells in your body have been replaced, sort of thing, and so things like allergies and sensitivities you may not have through your entire life, but I really don't know the validity of that. So don't take that for, truthsies. I don't know, but I've heard people say that before. So I don't know if it's true, but I know for 100% certainty that I did not have any sensitivity or allergy to cats when I was a kid because we like always had cats. And then it wasn't until we had had the 2 cats I just showed you guys for a couple of years that I started having, like, reaction to them. So, like, I had had a cat since I was, like, 10 maybe, even before that, because we were at that house, maybe, like, 7, and, like, even when I went away for college, my roommate had a cat, like, we've always had cats, and it wasn't until these ones that I started having a reaction, so that kinda gives that theory that I just said a little more merit in my brain. I don't know if it's accurate or not, though. Your kitties are so cute. Thank you. Yes, they're very floofy, and I don't know if that's maybe part of it. What the white one is obviously, like, long-haired, and the gray one is, like, medium hair. So, like, her hair isn't physically long, but she has, like, an undercoat. So she's got a lot of hair. You can sit there and brush her forever, and more hair just comes out. I just cleaned out my to-dos, and they were over 400, now I've cut them 100. Now I've cut them to 150. It took some time, it feels good now that I've done it. I haven't done a clean out my to-dos in so long. I think I'm over, like, 1,700, and I cut a bunch out, and then it just ends up being way back up there, so I've given up on having a reasonable number of to-dos. A pattern I admire but cannot picture myself ever making, 100, 120. 100, 120. Ooh, this is a fun one. I feel like this would actually be, like, a good, um, scrap project. You know what I mean? Like, you could use up some color scraps and stuff in that, instead of just doing, like, a rag or something. That's a fun one. I think, actually, this may be based off of the cross stitch pattern that Naughty Jewels used for her first, like, really, oh my gosh, I can't speak anymore, really massive, lion head wall hanging. Very similar idea, like, very rainbow lion head, but much, much bigger than that, actually. Who doesn't love Starbucks? Give me an iced chai anytime. Oh, so good. I love chai tea. So, so good. Hot, cold, all of the above. I love it. Um, I would rather see a general spring floral theme than Easter, but anything would be fun to watch. Also, a more general seasonal one would be better for a broader audience who don't celebrate Easter. That was kind of my thought as well. Like, I know there's a lot of people, so far as like a Christmas not along goes or something. Like, I know there's a lot of people who celebrate Christmas because not because it's part of like their religion or belief set, but because they have moved somewhere where it is popularly celebrated. Like, I know some people who, like, it's not something that when they were kids they didn't celebrate, but then they moved to Canada, and because everyone else was celebrating it, once they moved out on their own, they started celebrating Christmas because it was like this thing that seemed really hyped up and they had never had. So I think there's a lot of people for like Christmas, for instance. There's a lot of people who don't celebrate it as well. But like Easter and stuff, when you get into more of those holidays, I don't like it doesn't have the same. draw. Does that make sense? So I was kind of leaning more towards a spring theme as well. And then maybe I'd do like a speed knot or something for an Easter one or a tutorial or something. When are you posting your bracelet collection videos? I have not filmed a bracelet collection video in a long time, simply because after my last bracelet collection video, I took my entire tin to work and basically like I cleared out the ones that I really, really liked and wanted to keep for myself. And then I took the tin to work and was basically like, anyone take whatever you want because I just wasn't going to wear them and I don't see a profit in selling them. So my collection is very, very small. And I feel like I didn't not a super ton last year. So I feel like it's not a very extensive in a very extensive place now to like post. Like there's not a ton of new stuff. So it'll be some old stuff that you guys have already seen a bunch of times and then like a handful of new things. So I've been kind of holding out, but I know it's been like a year. I know what you mean about the ink blots. I think they start with an R, but I forget. Yeah, they're like named after someone, aren't they? I don't remember, but I think you should do a spring one because some people, including me, don't have Easter. But if you want, it's up to you. That's kind of yeah, that's kind of the way that I'm leaning as well. I think spring may just be more fun, like spring floral or just like baby animals, because that's generally when like small animals are born and stuff. So like baby deer, baby bunnies, baby, whatever. So I'm thinking spring may just be the way to go. I think more people would enjoy that than an Easter pattern. Obviously, there would be some involvement on an Easter pattern, but I obviously want to open it up to as many people as possible. Like, I don't want to keep not along strictly to holidays. Sometimes they will be. Like the first not along we did was a Halloween one. Um, but I also know that not everyone celebrates every holiday. So yes. Yes. A spring pattern, 113549. 113549. I have that in my to-dos. Oh, that would actually be pretty big though. It's like 116 strings wide, I think. Yeah. It would look so good though. It's this pattern, which butterflies and flowers. Like, that would be a fun one. That would be a big one though. That would be a big one. How about pattern 114994? 114994. Is that what you said? Yeah. Oh my gosh, excuse me. Well, that's a cute little one. It's like it's a little smaller, a little simpler, but it's like bunnies and tulips and daffodils and stuff. Bunnies, like there's one bunny there, Megan. But that's very cute too. I feel like there's a lot of like just spring general patterns. I have no doubt about 1,000 to-dos. I only joined a month ago as well, and there's a reason. And the reason why I have so many to-dos is because I just got into keychains. So, and there are so many more things you can make with those. So I know what I'll be doing tomorrow, cleaning out my to-dos. Yeah. I have been on bracelet book for like 10 years now. So you can imagine. You can imagine how many to-dos I've accumulated. I just realized that we had a Vampire Diaries conversation without getting into Team Damon or Team Stefan part. Vampire Diaries conversations take that turn really fast. You see, here's my thing. When I read the books, I didn't read all of the books. I want to say there's like 2 or 3 more volumes left. But the last one I read, by the time I was done it, I was definitely shipping like Damon and Bonnie, which like we don't really see in the TV show. So, like, Team Stefan, Team Damon, like, I think Damon's the more interesting brother, but I don't really feel opinionated enough on it to make it a conversation. If you'd have came at me back in the day with Team Edward or Team Jacob, that would have been a whole different story. But I think because like most of my experience with the Vampire Diaries, like I think I enjoyed the books for longer than I enjoyed the TV show, and they were kind of like a little bit separate. I think I just shipped them differently. This is a fun pattern too. It's kind of cut off the way I have it there. But it's a butterfly and some flowers. Do, 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 do. Oh my gosh. Where we go? Where we go? Have I ever read the House of Night books? I read a couple of them and then I kind of fell off. They weren't super my thing. I didn't read the entire series. Or you can do a video. Sorry, Kevin sent me a message here. Or you can do a video with your Instagram followers. I think you mean like Instagram followers choose my bracelet. I posted those polls before and I screenshotted everything. I just didn't have the colors at the time to do the bracelet that ended up being picked. So I've thought about doing it again or actually just doing that bracelet because I did screenshot and save everything. That's a possibility too. I've thought about doing it on the community channel here as well. Or I've thought about doing it as my live stream chooses my bracelet sometime, but it's not one that is it's not one that's super on the forefront just because I feel like if I use Instagram, like I have a big difference between my Instagram followers and my YouTube. But that being said, like I feel like I cut out a lot of people if I just exclusively use Instagram. So I don't know if I would do Instagram chooses my bracelet. I don't know. It's a thought. It is down on my brainstorm pad of ideas to do. But I think I want to do a random number generator and the alpha guidebook, I think, are the two probably bigger videos that'll be upcoming. How about 80683? Eight zero six eight three. Oh, that one's cute with just a little bunny. And then it's not super Easter themed. Like it's a hint of Easter for people who celebrate Easter, but it's also just a cute little bunny for people who don't celebrate Easter. That one's a cute one. Because it's spring and Easter, basically. Yeah, that's kind of a good one. Because then it kind of falls like right on the head. If someone wants to make an Easter pattern, then you can say it's an Easter pattern. But if you don't celebrate Easter, you can just say it's a cute little bunny pattern. Oh, which are you, Team Edward or Team Jacob? See, it's funny because when I first read them, I was definitely like Team Edward. And I haven't read them in a long time. I've kind of thought about going back and reading them. And I kind of feel like I'd be maybe more Team Jacob this time around. I just feel like, honestly, kind of feel like I'm more like Team Edward, just eat the annoying girl and move on with your life. I feel like it's kind of the way I look at it now, but yeah, at the time I was definitely Team Edward, and I think at the time Jasper was one of my favorite characters. So that's kind of funny. Yeah. What team were you? Were you Team Edward or Team Jacob? 101213. Ooh, 214. That is not what we want. 101213. That's just a cute little floral pattern. That's a fun one too. 116010. 116010. That is a nice little floral pattern. It's not too, I say it's not too complex, but I'm looking at the little pieces of those flowers, and there's a lot of color changes up in that. Like each little section here of this flower have like 3 colors in it. So that would be one that I like look at and I'm like, oh, it doesn't look that complicated. Like it looks pretty simple. And then I start nodding it and be like, no, you idiot. These are quick color changes. Would be fun though. Have you ever watched Outer Banks? I have not. And my brother has suggested it to me that I should watch it. So he had told me that it was really good. But I have not actually watched it. I have not read the Twilight books, but I watched the movies. Well, I've already expressed my opinion about the movie. Best of both worlds with the, I think, Kevin, your message got cut off there. But yeah, I think, yeah, maybe like in that regard, maybe like a subscribers or live stream chooses something that doesn't cut off a bunch of people, maybe includes more people. I don't know. I'm conflicted. I like them both. Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, yeah. I don't know. I think the reason I had liked Edward more was because I feel like the introduction of Jacob in the books, at least, he just kind of annoyed me. He just kind of seemed like a whiny little boy that didn't get his way, so he was mad. Like that's honestly how I felt about him. But now, with some life experience, and I'm not like 14 reading these books, I feel like I might have a little bit of a different perception on it. But yeah, I'm not sure. Do. 85036. 85036. That's a cute little one too. That's like a hand holding just a daisy. That's a fun one. I think I have a lot of spring patterns like in my to-dos as well. Like if I go spring in my to-dos, what comes up here? A cow with a flower crown. That comes up. A whole bunch of floral patterns. A bee pattern. This was a little more simple, but a little bird on a branch. I was gone for a bit. Are you searching for patterns for the knot along? Yeah, so I was talking about, I'm not sure when you dipped out. I was talking about how I had originally intended to do like a Valentine's knot along. And then just with my knit project and stuff, it was just going to be adding too much to my plate. So I opted not to. But I've been thinking about doing a spring knot along. And I think I was like spring or Easter, leaning more towards spring. And then a bunch of people in the chat have said spring as well. So I've kind of been thinking about that. And then that way the fall knot along video will be up next week. And then that will have that done. So I'm not like starting a new knot along when the last video isn't even up. That just didn't really sit well with me. So I do still have my list of Valentine's patterns. So maybe next year we'll use them. But I've been kind of thinking about a spring one. So yeah, if you have suggestions, definitely message me, put them in the chat there. 80683. Let's look at that one. Let's get out of my to-dos first. 80683. Combine the pattern. Sorry, Kevin, you're meaning combine the pattern and the like Instagram followers or like subscribers choose my pattern and have That could be a fun way to do a nod along, is if I just pick the pattern and have everyone like pick the colors, or put in the pattern suggestions and then have like the live stream or Instagram or like community tab pick the colors, and then I'm literally making a pattern that you guys picked with all the colors that you guys pick. That could be a fun way to do it. And then do that as a nod along. So it's literally like a subscriber chose pattern. That would be kind of fun too. I never really considered that before. You need to watch Outer Banks. Your brother is right. You should watch it. Bravely Boom also has so many cute patterns related to the season. I meant Bracelet Book. I was like, Bravely Boom. What is Bravely Boom? Yeah, my brother's asked me a few times if I've watched it, so I'll probably sit down at some point and watch it. I just haven't gotten around to it. Yeah, Bracelet Book has a ton of like floral patterns and cute animal patterns and stuff. So I'm sure if we're going for a spring theme, we'll find something, no problem. Yeah, floral patterns are my favorite for sure. I have so many of them in my to-dos. Like, actually, so many of them. Okay, let's see. 90088. Just a cute little sunflower pattern. I think this looks like it's in my to-dos as well. That's a fun one. That one reminds me a little more of summer, I think. Oh my gosh, there. There we go. But yeah, I think a spring nod along is the way to go. But yeah. Oh my gosh, I might have to sign off here, guys. We've been live for almost 3 hours. I don't think you can watch it in a day. Every episode is an hour and there are 2 seasons. Yeah, it would definitely take me some time. And then I did see your message that you've now retracted. That was how often do you do lived? And I was like, lives? I do them every other Friday. So obviously tonight, and then next Friday there won't be one, and then the one after that there will be a live stream. But it has been fun, guys. But it's been almost 3 hours, and I'm hungry, and I'm out of beverage. So I think I'm gonna call it a night. But thank you guys for joining me and staying for so long, because I know this started later than a little bit later than we normally do. But well, has the live been so long? Yes, right? Good luck with finishing the knit tonight. I will 100% finish it tonight because I've been screwing up my sleep pattern again. Good night. I'm falling asleep. I'm tired too. Thank you for another super fun live hangout. Have a good weekend. Thank you guys for joining. It's 3 a.m. where I am. Girl, that's the time I plan to stay up to. Yeah, thank you for joining me. I hope you all had a really great week. I hope you all have a really great weekend. And thank you for spending your time with me. And hopefully, I will have some posts going up for a spring nod along. I was planning on getting the 24-hour challenge out today, but I think by the time it exports and I finish the thumbnail, it will be after midnight. So technically tomorrow. But yeah. So anyways, guys, I will see you all next time. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a really great weekend. Bye. Oh, maybe not. It doesn't want to let me end. Excuse me? Well, that's awkward. Okay. All right, guys. Have a good weekend.